GSF. So let's do the same little fun stretch of twisty roads in normal with the standard torque vectoring differential of this Lexus GSF in standard. So normal, standard mode, and then we'll go back the other way with it in Sport Plus and its torque vectoring diff in its most fun slalom mode. This car is outstanding. So on sections like this in normal mode, there is a lot more body roll than you would notice with it in Sport or Plus or Sport Sharp. As a result, the ride is more controlled. I mean, it's just much more relaxed. You don't have the you always have the active intake, but you don't have as much of the always on exhaust bellow that is very prominent in some of the other settings. And then the other big change that you notice is coming up to corners, the car is not helping as much to slow itself down. You really, you need to be on the brakes, obviously, of course, in both modes, but with the torque vectoring diff in slalom or track mode, the car, when it is on the brakes coming up to a corner, whereas it would normally be like, with its nose pitching forward, with the torque vectoring diff in its tighter settings, it really is able to hold the rear of the car down, at least in a subjective sense of how it feels behind the wheel. So that's fantastic news. I'm gonna turn around. These people drive too slow. So that's really, really great. And it makes a big difference on tight corners like this. So let's go into, okay, we're gonna put traction control off. There we go. Torque vectoring diff into slalom, and then over into Sport Sharp, and we're off. Oops. So immediately much more ferocious throttle response and sound from out back. Sharper, faster steering, a much more sense of control, like the chassis is sort of alive and moving over bumps with a smoother flow, a flow that's more focused on keeping traction versus the normal mode, which wants to keep things comfy and smooth and refined. So really incisive, really good turn in. In slalom mode especially, the GSF becomes much more nimble, and having this torque vectoring diff standard over the RCF makes a huge difference in that regard. So you've got it matching downshifts on the way down, as well as that differential really keeping things locked up and back, coming into corners like this. So you don't have to use the paddles when you're in that Sport Sharp mode, because it is watching the yaw sensor and watching as you brake. So it does come up and perform those downshifts for you, and that is also extremely helpful in balancing the vehicle and getting it set to make max power out of the turn. Extremely fast, extremely fun car. 2016 Lexus GSF, bases from $85,000, and as equipped with the Mark Levinson audio and caviar black paint on this example, we come in at an all-in price of $86,500. So astounding machine. It's more pure and visceral than the M5 and E63, if not as good at a rough launch like that. So I'm just gonna peg it. So there's a little initial hesitation, whereas I feel like it should fly off the line faster. I mean, E63 is off the line in just milliseconds, and similar boat for the Cadillac CTS-V. But all of those cars, like we mentioned in the other videos, are either all-wheel drive or turbo or supercharged, and there is compromise. I mean, you lose stuff in that transition. What I think that the GSF would benefit most from is perhaps more power. See you guys later. But as it is, the car is so astoundingly good. It just needs, or maybe it needs better operator talent to really handle like a flawless pounce off the line every single time. But that might also be a factor of having natural aspiration. I mean, you have the naturally aspirated engine, so you have these amazing sonics, really evocative rev note as it hits its 7,200 peak revs. So you have all that, you have all the advantages of that too. But it would be nice if there were no trade-offs. If this car could be rear-wheel drive, naturally aspirated, and still as ferocious and in the 3-second range, like the fastest M5s and the Cadillac CTS-V. But as it is, it's very, very difficult to find fault in Lexus's new strategy. This GSF is going to launch the new GS lineup in all 8 models, including GS200T, GS450H F Sport, GS350 all-wheel drive. I mean, all of those cars have a fantastic halo glow over them already, thanks to this car's brilliance and really just the fact that they built it. The fact that this has been on every Lexus dream list since the start of the brand, and it's never played out. It's never, they've never been able to justify it from cost or competitive perspective. It just might not have been all that. Whereas, they really took their time on this car, and Brembo brakes, LFA inspired engine. I mean, this thing is the business. Ooh. You hear how it gets like really intense right at its red line? It goes like, even more so than usual. I'll try it again. This guy in front of me probably thinks I'm crazy. Right at between 6,900 RPM and 7,200 RPM, it's really like, I mean, you can tell this car has just got all of its finely tuned performance goodness in perfect zen. We'll see you guys next time. Go check out the Lexus GSF. It is fantastic. It's everything the RCF is, but more. Standard torque vectoring diff is more playful, much bigger cabin, huge trunk, and honestly updated style, black chrome.